When Aretha Franklin entered Fame Studios in 1967, she was undoubtedly a prodigious talent, but she hadn't yet found the voice that would crown her the Queen of Soul. While the sessions have gone down in history as one of the studio's most tumultuous, they also brought us the song which would carry Aretha Franklin to the top of the charts and kick-started the career which would inspire generations of musicians to follow. So let's talk about I Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You. Hello there, it's Warren Hewitt here. I hope you're doing marvellously well. Welcome back to another episode of the series. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when we have a new video. And if you're into production, you can go to producelikeapro.com and sign up for the email list and get a whole bunch of free goodies. From her earliest years, Aretha Franklin had grown up around music. Her mother was a gospel pianist and singer, and her father was a minister in the New Bethel Baptist Church, filling Franklin's earliest days with incredible music. Her father's reputation as a powerful preacher allowed him to record sermons on more than 50 albums and brought celebrity gospel performers like Clara Ward, James Cleveland, Mahalia Jackson, Jackie Wilson, and Sam Cooke into his young daughter's life. Inspired by the music around her, Franklin began playing piano by ear at a young age, and by the age of 12, she was singing solos in her father's church. In 1960, at the age of 18, Aretha signed with Columbia Records. She found some success in her time at Columbia, but became increasingly frustrated with the artistic direction in which she felt herself being pushed. In 1966, she joined Atlantic Records, hoping to remain musically connected to her gospel roots. A year later, she found herself in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, recording the tracks which would change her whole career. In January of 1967, Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records sent Aretha and her husband, an acting manager, Ted White, to Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals to record with a rhythm section who were quickly gaining a reputation as one of the premier studio session musicians of all time, the Swampers. Wexler and engineer Tom Dowd joined Aretha and White in the studios, where they met up with Fame owner Rick Hall, the Swampers, and a horn section hired by Hall for the sessions. Hall recalled being unsure of the seemingly shy new singer when she first entered the studio. Wexler had wanted to record a song written by Ronnie Shannon called I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You, but the musicians struggled to understand it at first. Hall recalled thinking at first, "What's this song all about? It sounds like an old waltz. It's got a waltz beat and you can't dance to it. It's not gonna happen." But then Aretha sat down at the piano. With Wexler's encouragement, Aretha felt more artistic freedom than she had had before. And with her singing from the piano, she was able to guide the musicians in a gospel-infused 6/8 groove. Swampers bassist David Hood was playing trombone that day and recalled Aretha played the piano while she sang, rather than just standing there singing. Her piano feel really helped the way the musicians got to play with her.
You're no good, heartbreaker.
With Franklin at the piano, keyboardist Spooner Oldham was able to switch to the Wurlitzer. Hood also credits Oldham with helping the group find the now iconic groove. Spooner came up with this great little lick, and everyone fell in line with that, started playing, and that saved the song. It was minutes after that we did the horn parts. In addition to Oldham and Hood, the song features Jimmy Johnson and Chips Moman on guitar, Tommy Cogbill on bass guitar, and both Gene Chrisman and Roger Hawkins are credited on drums. Melvin Lasty on trumpet, Charles Chalmers and King Curtis on tenor saxophone, and Willie Bridges on baritone saxophone. And Aretha's sisters, Carolyn Franklin, Irma Franklin, and Cissy Houston on background vocals. With the right arrangement, the song was ready to carry the now legendary vocal performance by Aretha.
Loved a man the way that I love you.
If you look at the lyrics to the song, they are emotionally heavy. You're a no-good heartbreaker. You're a liar and you're a cheat. And I don't know why, I let you do those things to me. The voice struggles to reconcile her love for a man who treats her so terribly. This is the recording that showed the world the power of Aretha Franklin's voice. As she digs into and pulls off each phrase, you get lost in the emotional turmoil of the song's lyrics. Even if you didn't know what the words were about, in her performance you can hear a painful longing. Her voice carries the text in a way that is truly unlike any other. You can trace the true start of Aretha Franklin's incredible output to her recording of I Never Loved a Man at Fame Studios, but unfortunately it was the only time she would record there. It's hard to know the finer details of what happened that day at the studio, but what is clear is that some of those involved in the sessions, including Franklin's husband, Ted White, had been drinking. According to Hall, White claimed that one of the trumpet players had acted inappropriately towards Franklin and demanded that he be fired. A little bit later, he demanded the saxophonist be sent home as well. As tensions arose, Hall also had a few drinks and thought things could be settled outside the studio over more drinks. Years later, he admitted that Wexler had warned him not to go and regretted the fight that followed. However it started, the conflict ended with Wexler taking Aretha back to New York to finish the record, never to return to Fame Studios. For those New York sessions, which finished another song started at Fame, Do Right Woman, Do Right Man, Wexler flew in several members of the Muscle Shoals rhythm section. This may have been the start of their move away from being called the Swampers to their official name as the Muscle Shoals rhythm section, which they took on as they started their own competing recording studio, the Muscle Shoals Sound Studio, in 1969. I Ain't Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You was released as a single on February the 10th, 1967. The B-side was another song Aretha had recorded, but not finished at Fame, Do Right Woman, Do Right Man. The single hit the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and became Franklin's first #1 hit on the rhythm and blues charts. The song also provided the name for her first Atlantic album, a powerhouse record which also included incredible tracks like Respect and Dr. Feelgood. The song kicked off the gospel-infused soul sound which would crown Aretha its queen. In 1987, she became the first female artist to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and was named the #1 singer on the Rolling Stones list of the greatest 100 singers of all time. At Fame Studios in 1967, she found that voice.
I can't sleep at night. No, I can't eat a bite.
I'm not sure what else we can say. This was a huge turning point in Aretha Franklin's career. She'd had many bubbling under records that had a certain level of success. But this album and this sound that she created with those musicians at Fame Studios was the catalyst to what became the career of the greatest soul singer of all time. Aretha is name-checked by everybody you love and respect. If you want to dispute me on this, go to your favourite singer and they will say my favourite female singer of all time is Aretha Franklin, almost every single time. What an absolutely incredible talent. Fame Studios has got its fingers in so many musical pies. So much greatness came from that studio. But of course, Rodney, the owner's son, would be the first to admit it's because they got to work with some of the greatest artists of all time. And Aretha Franklin is certainly one of the greatest singers to ever live. And if you haven't already, you can look down below. We actually did a biopic on Aretha, which you can also watch. We're huge fans here. Aretha, thank you for your incredible music. Fame Studios, Jerry Wexler, the Swampers, thank you all. And of course, Rick Hall, thank you for capturing such an important performance that changed music forever. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios. I really appreciate you all. Please leave any comments and questions below and any other suggestions for other artists or songs or albums that you feel strongly changed music. Goodbye.